So Goved, I want you to tell us about yourself. Take us through your life up to this moment.
Benson Goved, the General, Dictator Goved. While the internet argues about what his nickname should be, we can all agree on one thing. The 19-year-old center back has become a superstar in Kahawa Pride's viral series Road to the Kenyan Premier League. While his performance on the pitch has turned heads, 8 starts and only 2 goals allowed across those 720 minutes played, his athletic talent comes with a personality and a life story that nobody has seen yet. In this video, we're covering his entire journey, from his early childhood in the streets of Githurai to the beginning of his professional career in the neighborhood of Soweto, to interviews with the very coaches who developed him into the player he is today. We've gathered never-before-seen footage of what life is like as a grassroots Kenyan footballer trying to go pro. This is the life of Benson Goved.
I was born in Githurai, an hospital called Roundabout.
Our story begins in Githurai, a densely populated neighborhood about 30 minutes northeast of the Nairobi city center. This is where Goved was born and where he lived with his mother and 3 siblings for the first 9 years of his life. Goved never had a relationship with his father. Growing up in Githurai, there was one place everybody could rely on for structure and support. That place was the Maisa Githurai Library. Maisa, short for Mathare Youth Sports Association, is a crucial organization in Nairobi, helping bring structure and development to children through sports and activities. The Maisa Githurai Library was a formative place for Goved, a place where he spent time reading, writing, and just hanging out with his friends. But it's also the origin story of his entire football career. So who is that guy with us at the library? Meet Coach Walla, the library director and also a coach for Holy Mary FC, a club we just played 2 weeks ago. It was Coach Walla who first got Goved into football, bringing him onto Bentos FC when he was just 7 years old, his very first club.
Nimekuwa coach wa watoi since nikiwa na 14 years. Coach wa watoi imekuwa ni part yangu kubwa kwa life yangu. Hapo kompa kulikuwa na vijana walikuwa wanatoka hiyo area. Alikuwa mdogo design. Hakuna timu ilikuwa inamuhitaji juu ya udogo wake. Sasa mimi ndio nilikam na hiyo kuchukua wale watoi wenye wana matimu, wale wako chini. Naweza sema kijana discipline amekuwa nayo kutoka akiwa mdogo. Captain amekuwa. So unapata hiyo area yao yeye ndiye alikuwa anatoka na watoi, anawaambia tuko na game leo ya Maisa. Ati coach unikumbuki? Namwambia nyewe mimi sikukumbuki kwa sababu so adani wale watoi ungesahau juu ya udogo wake na hiyo udili yake ungemsahau. Naweza sema environment yenye amelelewa si environment poa. Juu hapa Kenya environment inaweza tuma mtu either akuwe mwizi ama akuwe yani mse drug abuse hivi anakuwa, lakini adasa hizi ni mtofauti. Naweza sema pia timu yenye alienda imekuwa ikimkeep kwa discipline ambayo inampush hadi hapo penye yako. So naweza shukuru tu kijana juu tuseme ni God tu penye amemfikisha.
Between Bentos FC, Coach Walla, and the Maisa Githurai Library, we get a pretty complete picture of what Goved's early years were like. By the time Goved is just 9 years old, his mother is fed up with his football ambitions, arguing that it's hurting his grades, and gives him an ultimatum: quit football or move out of the house.
My mother forced me to stop playing football. It was affecting my grades.
Goved says, no problem, I'll go live with my sister. So Goved moves in with his sister, Rhoda, the eldest sibling in the family, just down the road, still in the same neighborhood of Githurai. By now, he's moved on to a different team, the Soccer Wizards, still under Coach Walla. Months pass, it's now been just a year since Goved moved in with his sister, and his mother has now moved from Githurai to Soweto in that time, and now his mother wants him to come back and live with her. So, At 10 years old, Goved moves from Githurai to Soweto, back living with his mother. He is now in school at Kahawa Primary, and again, he is in between clubs. But after less than a year with his mother in Soweto, she moves hours away to Western Kenya, leaving Goved to start living with his sister again, who has also now moved to Soweto as well. So now Goved and his sister are living alone together in Soweto, and his new life in Soweto is an entirely new environment, and his mother, still to this day, has not returned to Nairobi. Soweto is arguably one of the most dangerous neighborhoods in all of northern Nairobi. If you aren't from Soweto and you want to visit Soweto, you better know somebody there, and you'll have to check in at the front of the neighborhood before entering. Even our crew of Coach Kim, Alvin, Goved, Kamau, and Ngethe, 3 players who grew up in Soweto, by the way, had to check in when we went to film our documentary. So where did we check in? The Ghetto Sportive FC office, the operations center for the local football club, where we also met up with our tour guide for the day, Kafore. Before leaving, we give the club a handful of balls, not as a gift, but actually fulfilling our transfer fee from when Kamau and Ngethe transferred from Ghetto Sportive to KSSA, an old agreement that we still owed them for. In grassroots Kenyan football, it's pretty common for transfer fees to be paid in footballs. Our first stop in Soweto after checking in is a location called the Soweto Youth Initiative. Similar to the Misa Githurai Library, it's a community center, primarily for children, where support and activities are provided to give them structure and a safe place to go hang out, learn, and make friends. It's a place where Goved spent much of his time, especially when he first moved to Soweto, and we sat down with Sir George, the coordinator of the center, to all chat as a group about old times when these players were in their childhood to current times, and how the center is still around just like it was when these players were growing up.
This is our center, our safe place, where the youth are coming to have some fun and learning and enjoying themselves. First of all, I want to say thank you for our boys who have seen them growing here, coming here to take some uji, playing here. Now I'm very proud of them. They are going far. Goved ni mpole, yeye ongei, yeye ni wakunyamaza kuangalia. Hata ujui nini anafikiria, yeye ananyamaza tu. Sababu sijamsikia tangu nimjue, ni mpole na ananyamaza. Mpira, anacheza the best.
After leaving Soweto Youth Initiative, we continue walking deeper into the neighborhood, briefly stopping by a community cyber cafe that is bustling with activity. As Kafore is guiding us through the neighborhood, Kamau makes a quick stop. Kamau also grew up in Soweto, and he knows all the secrets in the area. There's a military base nearby, and for years it has had a broken pipe popping out of the ground in the Soweto neighborhood that is constantly pouring clean drinking water. So whenever Kamau is back in town, he grabs a quick drink. A few more minutes of walking go by, and we come across an opening in the neighborhood. The locals are hanging out, many of them drinking liquor, and we come up on a small restaurant serving an odd dish. Kamau, Ngethe, and Goved immediately recognize it, but Alvin and Kim are confused. It's twak, a Soweto specialty, and a common lunch item often eaten with ugali as a complementing dish. It's pig intestines diced up and cooked in a pot. There's a meat plant right next to the neighborhood that sells the intestines to anyone willing to buy them. To the factory, it's a waste product, but to the locals here in Soweto, it's just another Tuesday lunch. The 3 players all have a bite, no problem. Alvin and Kim give it a try, and it doesn't go so well. After the small snack, our crew continue walking through the winding side streets of Suedo, just walls and walls of metal as far as the eye can see. The next destination on Kafore's schedule is an interesting one, the biggest liquor den in the entire neighborhood of Soweto, where huge barrels of ingredients are burning on fires, with the end product being liquor, which is then sold locally. Before leaving the den, the manager thanks our crew for helping the boys find a better path in life. Despite the harshness of it, liquor is one of the few employment opportunities for the locals here. And of course, our last stop before leaving Soweto. An interview with Goved's sister, Rhoda, the sibling he lived with from ages 11 to 18, right up until he moved into the clubhouse last year.
Yeah, ni hardworking, na mimi nilibambika venye huwa anacheza ball, na by the way mimi namwish poa, na naomba tu Mungu amsaidie hata sisi tutoe kwenye tuko saa hii huko ghetto. Jilado yeye ndio kichwa yetu na tunampenda sana. Na mimi kama mama yake na namwombea mema. Akigrow up alikuwa anapenda kucheza ball by the way. Joda ameonyesha kaka kijana kangu kadogo. Alikuwa yeye alikuwa anapenda ball, hata akiambiwa afanye kazi yako anapenda kufanya kazi. Alikuwa tunataka tu kwenda tu kwa mpira. Maisha yake tu imekuwa ya mpira tu mpaka sasa kwenye amefika, lakini mimi namwombea poa. Ako na nyota mzuri ya kucheza ball. Yenye watu labda waoni, maybe sasa wataiona hiyo talent yenye ako nayo.
As I mentioned, Goved moved to Suedo when he was just 10, and he lived there until he moved into the clubhouse just a few months ago, so a lot happened during those 8 or 9 years. When he first moved to Soweto, he was without a football club, and a pivotal moment of his career occurred. In his class at Kahawa Primary is a kid you may know now, the one and only Felix Kamau. Felix said, "You need a club? I got you." And he invited him to come train with his club at the time, Bethsaida FC. It's at Bethsaida where Goved meets another pivotal mentor in his life, Coach Hika.
Okay, so Bethsaida is a football club that we made from a children's home. We at Bethsaida decided that we should rescue kids from the street, rehabilitate the kids from the street.
As a football player and just as a person, what do you remember about who he was?
As a football player, I would say a warrior. I mean, he would fight for the team regardless the quality of the team we have. He could cover all the loopholes. He could step in, cover up. He would take leadership. But then he was not even the captain, but he could do more than a captain. He's confident. He's very confident in what he believes in. We would face huge teams or huge clubs, but he could motivate anybody.
That was all about discipline. Our coach Hika likes so much discipline. He'll say he'd rather spend his time to make you being a disciplined person.
Goved would play for Coach Hika at Bethsaida for 4 years before his next big break, where our next character, Fred Opio, joins the storyline. Opio is another coach at Bethsaida who also has ties to KSSA, or Kahawa Sportive Soccer Academy, the precursor to Kahawa Pride. Opio is the first one who sees Goved's huge potential, and he tells Goved, "You should come train with KSSA," because at the time, KSSA had a dominant senior team and Goved could have a real path to high-level football there.
He's a very competitive player. I knew him as a fighter, somebody who is very capable of doing more than expected. At some point, people might consider Goved as a Balotelli, that kind of player, but I believe it's according to the way you carry him. So if you decide him to be a leader in your team, he'll be. If you decide him to be like that Balotelli, of course he'll be Balotelli. Yes.
After Goved graduated from Kahawa Primary School, he took an entire year off academics to focus solely on football at the age of 13. It was around this time when Opio saw his potential and introduced him to KSSA. Here, Otto and Kim met him for the first time, and they encouraged him to refocus on his schooling. But for Goved, school just never really worked out.
Me with school, it's like petrol and water.
He tried 3 different high schools between ages 14 and 15, Kakamega, St. Joseph Catal, and St. Peter's Boys High School, but he never made it more than a week at any of them. He left the first 2 due to not getting a football scholarship, and the third simply because it was not a good fit for him. But by now, Goved has grown. He's developed well in the KSSA system, and a couple years later, at age 16, in the fall of 2022, he makes his debut for the senior team right before the big rebrand to Kahawa Pride. For Goved, it's all football from here on out. He remains a regular in the starting 11 for Kahawa Pride as a young up-and-coming defenseman, continuing to develop and earn more and more recognition. He's always been a leader in the locker room, with his teammates having nothing but positive things to say about him.
As a person, competitive, na pendi ku lose. He's a good friend, he's a leader, he's a fighter.
Sadioka in the changing room. Goved's a good friend. He helps, like he likes helping everyone.
Goved ni mtu poa, yani ni mtu wa kusaidia, yani hata kama una anakusaidia, anapenda ubeste sana.
Goved, kwanza
ni vibe tu. The way mi na behave, sometimes yeye pia na behave hivyo. We like joking a lot.
He's a motivator, a fighter, and he doesn't like losing. He likes eating, he likes singing, sometimes even he eats my eggs. But I can't blame him. Inside the clubhouse, he always walk without clothes. That's Goved.
While Goved may have amassed tens of thousands of new online fans, the notoriety never gets to his head. He's still the same Goved his teammates have known and loved, and his future is now brighter than ever as he continues to dominate the regional division. From his early years in Githurai to his adolescent years in Suedo, he's been through a lot, but his spirit never broke. Now, his years and years of hard work are paying off, and the best part is, his journey is just beginning.